So today we're going to do a Monopoly themed magic trick, and I'll start with a prediction that I'm going to put inside of my get out of jail free card, and I'll leave it right here on the table. We'll put that aside and we'll look at that later. I have a bunch of pieces from a Monopoly game here, and what I want you to do is help me decide which one we should keep, and we'll do this by eliminating a bunch of them. So I'm going to start by pointing to any two of these, and then you tell me which of the two you want to eliminate. All right, so I'll start with these two. Which one do you want to eliminate? This one? All right, we'll get rid of that one. Now you point to two and I'll eliminate one. I'll get rid of this, the battleship. All right, now I'll point to these two. Which one do you want to eliminate?
This one.
Little dog, okay. Now you point to two, go ahead. Those two, I'll get rid of the thimble. Now I'll point to these two. Which one do you want to get rid of?
This one.
The car, all right. Now you point to two. Those two, I'll get rid of the horse. All right, now that leaves us with two pieces. Just push one of those two pieces forward. That one, all right. So that's the one we'll keep. We're going to get rid of this one. We'll put it aside. So you selected the top hat. We're going to put that aside for now. Now I have some properties from the game. So we have Illinois Avenue, we have B&O Railroad, we have Tennessee Avenue, States Avenue, Boardwalk, Pennsylvania, and Marvin's Gardens. So grab those dice. I want you to roll the dice. All right? You got a 6. So you happy with that, or do you want to re-roll?
I'll roll again.
Roll again? Okay. All right. You got a 10. Are you happy with that, or do you want to re-roll?
I'll roll again.
One more time, okay? And you can roll as many times as you want. You got a 4. You happy? You want to re-roll? You happy with 4? All right. I'll keep the 4. So what we're going to do is take this top hat, and we're going to move it around in groups of 4, and we're going to flip the properties over to mortgage until we run out of properties. All right? So we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, flip it over to mortgage. 1, 2, 3, 4, flip it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, flip it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, we flip it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, we flip it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, we flip it over, and that leaves us with only one property left, Marvin's Gardens. So we'll get rid of the rest of the properties, put them aside. So we have the top hat and we have Marvin's Gardens. So go ahead and pick up that piece of paper, the prediction I wrote at the beginning. And if you can open it up, a nice loud voice, if you can read what it says on that piece of paper.
Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. Move the top hat to Marvin's Gardens.
Move the top hat to Marvin's Gardens. This is a fun trick when you're having a game night, you've played a game of Monopoly, and then you want to share a little magic. It doesn't take much setup. All you have to do is write your little note before the trick starts. Now, you can write anything you want in this. I like writing do not pass go, do not collect 200, because people are used to reading that on the chance card. And then the second part of it is actually your prediction. So in this case, I wrote move the top hat to Marvin's Gardens. Of course, you could select any property you want, and you could select any of the game pieces you want to be on this note. You begin by letting them know that you have a prediction, and you'll put it aside, and they can read it later. Now you grab a bunch of game pieces. It doesn't matter how many pieces you have. Just remember that if you start with an even number, in this case I have 8, then you have to point first. And if you start with an odd number, then they have to point first for it to end up with the last choice being their choice. I know that I want to force the top hat, so when I point to 2, I'm never going to choose the top hat. So when I start, I'll point to any 2, and you could eliminate either one. It doesn't matter which one they eliminate because the top hat's the only one that matters. So let's say they eliminate this one. Now they're going to point to 2. Now if they point to the top hat, obviously I'll just choose the other thing. So in this case, the thimble. Then I'll point to 2, and they'll point to 2, back and forth, until we get down to just 2 pieces left. I'm going to ask them to just push one forward. It doesn't matter which one they push, I'm going to keep the top hat either way. If they push the top hat forward, I'd say, okay, you selected the top hat, so we'll get rid of this one. But if they did it the other way and they pushed this one forward, I would say, okay, you pushed that one forward, so we'll eliminate it, leaving us with the top hat. Now, when it comes to the cards, you want to select exactly 7 property cards. It doesn't matter which 7, just the one that you force has to be on the bottom. Now, you'll place these properties into a circle on the table. And the spectator doesn't know what you're going to be doing yet, so it doesn't really matter that this is the last one, and then you know that's the one you're going to force. You ask them to roll the dice, and a couple of things can happen here. If they roll a 7, that's the best case scenario, because you're always going to start at this first card with the top hat when you count around. So if they count 7, it's going to start right here. You're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to land on Marvin's Gardens. Don't do anything else, just get rid of the rest of the properties. If it lands on any other number but 7, it's still going to work out. I'll do it with a 2 because that's kind of the smallest number. It's the fastest way to do this. You always count the top card first as you count. So I go 1, 2, you flip this one over. And 1, 2, you flip this one over. 1, 2, you flip this one over. 1, 2, and so on. 1, 2, 1, 2. No matter what number it is, it's always going to end up at the last card face up, whichever one you put in this position. So you'll place the game piece on top of that property card and eliminate the rest of the property cards. And now the rest of the trick is already done. You just have to hand them a little note, let them read it, and they'll be amazed that you guessed it right.